Today I am going to turn this old dress into a boxer shorts because I need one. Follow me on Instagram, guys. Let us get this party started. I have a rectangle drawn, and this rectangle measures my hip circumference divided by 4 plus 4 inches and the length that I desire plus 3/8 of an inch. Okay, now I am going to mark my hip circumference divided by 4 plus 1.25. I have that right here. My hip circumference divided by 4 plus 1.25. So I am going to mark my crotch length. That is 13.38 for me. Square that out. From this point right here, I am going to mark 2 3/4. 2 3/4 right here, and I am going to draw that into a straight line so to match this line. And from this point right here, from this point I am going to mark up 2 3/8. If your seam allowance is half an inch, you do 2.5 inch, but I'm using a 3/8 inch seam allowance, so 2 3/8, sorry. So you're just adding 2 inches then your seam allowance. Okay, so anywhere I'm adding 3/8 of an inch, you could add half an inch to be your seam allowance instead. I'm going to take my curved ruler and I am going to connect from this point right here to this point. You could do this by hand, not necessarily with a curve. And from this end, this is our M line, so waistline M line. So from this point, I'm going to mark 0.75. So you could mark 1 inch if you want, but because my seam allowance is 3/8, I'm marking 0.75. So I'm just going to connect. You could do this with a straight ruler. You're going to connect with a straight ruler instead. No need to get fancy. So this is my pattern done and ready to go. Now what I am going to do now is that I am going to add seam allowance to the hem and to the waistband, and for the seam allowance I am adding 3/8 of an inch. You could do half an inch if that is your seam allowance. I am not adding seam allowance to the crotch area or anywhere else because I already factored my seam allowance into all that. Okay, so now that I am done with that, I am going to cut out the pattern. For the sides, I am cutting it on fold, cut, I am done cutting out my pattern, and this is what it looks like. This place is so high and this place is very short. Let's just sew. This is the back and this is the front. This side is going to be placed on fold. Okay, now so I am going to cut the dress. This is the dress. I am going to cut this. Thankfully, one of the side seams was cut on fold. So this is it. This side was cut on fold, and this side has a seam. So that is exactly how I am going to cut it on the pattern. If it didn't have the fold, I would have added seam allowance to this point so that I could join the panels. But since it has a fold, I am cutting on fold. This dress is so old, it has lost its elasticity and it has holes on some sides. Like the stitches are already giving way and it has lost its ability to hold because this is a stretchy fabric, right? So it has slats, but we'll make do with it. So now that I am done cutting out the panels that I need, I am starting to add second thoughts because the fabric I am using is so light. Like, I don't know if you guys understand what I mean. This is so light and it is, can you guys see this? It is stretchy. It has lost its rigidity and I feel like this fabric will need a serger or at least a zigzag stitch in order to secure the ends. But I don't have a sewing machine that can do a zigzag stitch or an overlocker. So I'm just going to try as much as possible to be soft with this fabric as much as I can, so no pulling soft touches. If not, it disrupts the measurements. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take one of the panels one after the other and I'm going to place them like so, and I am going to sew on this area with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. I have already pinned this, so this is where I am sewing. I switched to my Teflon foot because I feel like a Teflon foot is what is needed for this particular fabric. Okay, so I'm just going to sew this right side section. Guys, I ran out of bobbing. So guys, I am done with that, and this is what it looks like. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to flip one of the shorts to the right side like so, and I am going to flip it into the other shorts, which is wrong side up. Okay, so basically we want both of them to be right sides touching. Okay, so crotch to crotch, this is how it's going to be. So I'm going to try as much as possible to align both seams. This fabric is so fragile. Okay. Just going to pin it at this area. This is the M, in order to keep it stable. Okay, so this fabric is not a stable fabric at all. So I have pinned it all around the crotch area and I am going to sew all around. People, so this is it. I am done sewing the crotch. This is what it looks like, and I flipped to the right side, and I went ahead to the bottom of the shorts. Can you guys see this? Can you see how the fabric stretched? So I simply folded by the seam allowance I added twice. So that's how you what I'm going to do next is to attach the elastic to the waistband area. So the elastic is 1 inch wide, so this is 1 inch wide or 1 inch tall, and the width of it, so from this point to this point, is my waist circumference. So as you can see, I had to join scraps of elastic in order for me to get the full length I need. Yes, I have elastic, but save your scrap, guys, save your scraps. Okay, so the elastic once again is my waist circumference, my full waist circumference. So I am going to be adding that to the waist area, but before I do that, I am going to fold. So I am going to fold. There are different methods to adding an elastic, but this one method I like. Okay, so I'm going to fold. Let me hang this one and show you guys. So I am going to first fold by the seam allowance I added, then I am going to fold over again by 1.5 inches. So it's going to look something like this, and I'm going to do that all around. Hey guys, so I am done. I mean the waist area, that is what I should call it. So I left an opening. This is my opening right here, and I am going to pass my elastic through the opening. So here it is. It's outside. Oopsies. So I'm going to pin this down somewhere around here so that it doesn't get lost inside the pants. Okay, this is it. Now I'm going to take this to my sewing machine, and I am going to stitch this in order to hold the elastic in place. So that is done. This is what it looks like now. So I'm just going to spread the elastic evenly across the shorts. So you want to make sure that your elastic is not wonky, it's not twisted. Okay, that is before you stitch this end. You want to make sure that your elastic is not twisted. Okay, so I am going to close this end. I'm just going to fold according to the way I stitched earlier, and I am going to close this end. So I am done sewing the elastic to my waistband. So now what I'm going to do next is that I am going to run a couple of stitches, maybe 2 stitches, all around the circumference. And when you're doing that, you want to make sure that you stretch. Okay, you stretch as you go. You don't want to leave like this and so you want to stretch and stretch. So I am done with the first row. Since I'm done with the first row, I am going to sew a second row. So this is what we got. I am going to wear it now and show you guys what it looks like on me. I apologize for not putting it on to show you guys. I am way too tired right now, guys, but it is beautiful. It is super duper comfortable and I really love it. If there is anything you don't understand, leave me a comment in the comment section and I will be glad to help you figure it out. Okay, when you try this project, please use the hashtag DIY with Juliet on social media so I can see your post and repost it, and do not forget to follow me on Instagram. More upcycling videos for you guys.